I'm Nouran Gohar. I reached highest world ranking of world #1 first time in July 2020. Won the world championship. 4 times US Open champion and 2 times British Open champion. So I come from a family with a background of table tennis. My mom and uncle used to be table tennis champions. Actually, my uncle, Sherbini, went to the Olympics in 1988, representing Egypt. And so it would have made sense to play table tennis, but my dad was a huge fan of squash. He played just for fun with his friends, and one day I just jumped on court with him. I was happy with the fact that I'm just running around the ball and just trying to chase something and spending time with him on court. So that's how I started. I started at my ID club. That was my hometown where I grew up. And this club actually brought up a lot of big champions, and world #1 world champions, such as Barada, Omar Burlusi, Amr Khalifa, Umnaya, Amr Shabana. Yeah, so it was a club that was very famous with squash. Yeah. My mom and dad are the main heroes of my story. They truly believed in me from day one, and they believed that I can get to the top of the tree, and they kept on pushing me every single time on the way. I think my mental toughness comes from the fact that I always believed in a very nice quote that says, the harder you work, the luckier you get. I'm a true fan of that, and you don't get there with luck. You have to put in the work, and the harder you work, the more you're gonna get, even if it's not now. Sometimes you work very hard and the results doesn't show up like now, but then you have to wait for the right time and not give up. The moment where you think of giving up is actually the moment where you have to stick even more. And I think the way I was wired from a very young age and the way I believed in this very much when I was very young reflected on my mental toughness on court. So that was like the mantra that I was living with, so I do show it on court as well, I think. Being Muslim and being Egyptian, especially for women, was a very nice thing to break stereotype, I would say. I'm very lucky to grow up in a time where women's sport was very big in Egypt, and to change that stereotype and make the young girls and the younger generation believe that they can achieve that and they can play sports for a living is something that is very new in our culture, I would say. People think that there is contradictions between being a Muslim Arab woman and playing sports. There is no contradiction whatsoever about that. So I feel that's a good thing for us that we change this perspective, and you can see right now in the top 10 Egyptian women. So it shows that we're very dominant, and it doesn't change anything about the fact that our identity or where we come from or anything. One person that really inspired me growing up was Ranim Al-Walaili. She's actually the first ever Egyptian, Arab or African female to top the ranking in any sport in the region. And that's huge. And guess what? It was in squash. So, and she did it in an era where we thought being world #1 is just impossible with the dominance of Nicole David. So the fact that she did it for the first time ever, and she did it in an era that no one thought that Nicole is beatable, the least we can say is inspiring. So I feel obviously she is the main reason for what we are achieving right now, and I'm hoping that our time is also inspiring the younger generation to keep on going the same way that we did. My personal motivation at the beginning was to prove to myself before anyone else that I can do that. I'm quite a stubborn person in general. So when someone comes to me and they're like, you can't do this or you will not be able to achieve that, I like to prove them wrong. So it comes a bit from, I'm so passionate about it, I love it. And at the same time, there is a bit of stubbornness, and I want to get to my end potential. I felt like I always had potential, and I truly believed in myself, and my entourage as well believed in me, and I just wanted to get to where I think I deserve to be. Most significant milestone would be getting to World No.1 and winning the World Championship, obviously. But before that, I would say winning the World Junior Championship, because until that point, I wasn't sure if I wanted to become a professional squash player or not. And then a week later, beating Nicole David to reach the final of the China Open was a huge milestone in my career in general, or the deciding factor in my career. But then when I took on squash and decided that this is my career, obviously reaching World No.1 and winning the World Championship would be the milestones of my career for sure. My training, it was quite different now than like 10 years ago or something. But for now, I would say we always train 6 days a week. Every day you have from 2 to 3 sessions. Every session is like an hour and a half. So these sessions, usually there are 2 sessions, squash sessions. One that is like technical session with your coach, and another session that is about like practice matches. And then you have another session, the 3rd session would be a gym session or a cardio session with your physical trainer. And then you can have a 4th session that is a physiotherapy treatment session. And then sometimes you can have a mental session as well. So you can end up having 4 to 5 sessions a day, time consuming, and it doesn't help because my husband, Zaid Sisi, he's a professional fencer, former World No.1 as well himself, so it's quite intense. How I prepare my meals, even during weekends, I would prepare my meals for the rest of the week so that I have time to rest to be ready for the next session of squash. So it's always about squash, and it's only about squash. For sure, Sherbini would be my biggest rival. Sherbini and Hania, obviously, they were my 2 biggest rivals, and you can see it in the last 4 years. Not a single platinum event wasn't won by one of us, so that says a lot, I think. I always say, without your rivals, you won't be the player or the person you are today. And I'm very grateful that I had that, because we keep on bringing the best out of each other. If you didn't have this type of rivalry and this type of competition, you would never be eager to get better every single day. You always, like, when you're tired, you remember, oh, actually I'm tired, but they're doing much more now. And it's like a puzzle that you try to figure out, like the big picture of it at the end. So you can get the missing piece now, but then actually after that, it's not the right piece, and then training, and then you figure out what's missing again, and then you go back. So it's like a game of chess, and I love this about the sport. I love it when only the people that get to the very high level will understand that type of rivalry. But the very, very high level, the top 2, and playing finals and battling the big titles, it's a completely different mindset and a completely different story. What makes squash very, very unique is the fact that it truly touches on every aspect of that you need, like the technical side of things. Like, you can't play squash if you have a bad technique. The physical part of it, you cannot play squash if you're not fit, and that's very hard. And the mental toughness is on another level as well. So I feel like it's very hard in any sport to find the 3 with the same importance. Usually you could find sports that are more technical, you can find sports that are more physical, but you can't find a sport that combines both. You would find sports, but not as intense as squash, I would say. I feel squash is in a very good place right now. Obviously, I think I'm always biased. I always think that our sport should get more than that. It deserves more. I feel like we're getting better. We're on the right track. We deserve even more in terms of everything. Prize money, in terms of exposure, in terms of media, in terms of all of this. I feel like there is a lot behind squash that you can get out of it. We can take this sport to another level. I feel like it has all the components to make it in another level, I feel. We can get to the level of, I'm talking about audiences as well, like you could see like the squash fans are very loyal to squash, so if you can make it a bigger number than that, like it's like 100,000 or whatever the number is, I feel like no, we can get to the millions and we can get to the golf or like the tennis exposure. I'm very, very proud that it got into the Olympics. I'm hoping that it will still be an Olympic sport. My plan is to play the Olympics for sure. I want to be remembered as someone that had a goal and never give up. I want to be remembered when kids think about me as like, oh, we can't do this, but actually Nuron did it. So someone that had perseverance, had determination, never wanted to give up on what they believe they can achieve. I want to be remembered for my perseverance and my determination. I hope to achieve next is qualify for the Olympics and win gold.
Okay, so tell me who you are.
From the beginning? Hopefully next season I would do something really, really weird.